Welcome to One Little Spice, the Disney food podcast that isn't afraid to send you into the taste lab.
Welcome to episode 9. If you're going into the woods today, I'm Juli.
And I'm Amy.
This episode is brought to you by Sarah Van Voris. Thank you, Sarah.
Thank you.
If you didn't get that reference, it's not Winnie the Pooh, although we are talking about Crystal Palace. That was, if you go into the woods today, you're in for a big surprise. Teddy bear picnic? Anybody? Anybody?
I got it.
I know you got it.
I did a teddy bear picnic in preschool.
Yeah, we did teddy bear picnics in elementary school. It was so much fun.
But yeah, I brought my teddy bears and my blanket, and I just teddy bear picnicked on my own because I didn't like anybody else in when was it? Preschool. I did my personal teddy bear picnic and the giant teddy bear picnic under the tree next to the preschool, which they recently cut down. The tree, not the preschool.
Yeah, no, I had a teddy bear picnic when I was in kindergarten, I think. I probably had several teddy bear picnics, but the one I remember was kindergarten and the song.
Preschool.
I don't think we did anything that cool in preschool. I remember gym class, and I remember the classroom for gym being ginormous and going back there and being like, I couldn't even stretch out in this room. How did I run around like a child? Because I was tiny.
So I went to a Baptist preschool because that was the good preschool in town. It was the best preschool in town.
Hallelujah.
I would get in trouble on a regular basis for saying, "Oh my God." They talked
in preschool?
In preschool, they regularly
Why
would
were you saying,
talk to
"Oh my God" at that age?
Because it was "Oh my God, that's that." That's what I would do. Oh my God. And I'm grabbing my face and looking shocked when I say that.
In an adorable childish way.
Yes, in an adorable childish way. And so they several times talked to my mother, and my mother's she's 4. Come on.
Whew, all right.
I was such the rebel in preschool.
Like when you were goth in high school, but you were too nice.
All the other goths, I don't even know if they tolerated me a little bit, but they just didn't want to hang out with me because I was too chipper.
All right, so it's that time again. Time for Amy's Daily Dish. Here we go. Yo, it's time for Amy's Daily Dish. Amy, what's your dish?
Here's today's dish. I'm clearly still working on my part of this introduction. So whatever you go with, you can add that at the end.
Whichever one we decide to. Juli, pick which one you like best. Thank you.
Thank you, Juli.
I always talk about myself when I need to... and that worked perfectly, though, for that last episode. So y'all didn't hear it because, sorry, but every time I need to edit something into another part of the podcast, we pause and I go, Juli, please edit that section into that other section where we're talking about that thing. Thank you, Juli. No, Amy says thank you, Juli.
Thank you, Juli. And then Juli goes, you may now resume finishing editing the podcast. Alrighty, so item 1. In Walt Disney World, bus times are now available on the My Disney Experience app.
How accurate they are is another question.
Yes.
But they're there.
Yeah, we'll get to that.
I mean, they were never accurate in the first place, so.
We'll get to that in a minute. Updated in live time, up-to-the-minute updates. I said update a whole way more time.
Up to the minute, Juli says with...
Yeah. Well, meaning, I think up to the minute means they're hey, this bus is supposed to arrive at 8:47 rather than 8:45. They're trying to be a little more specific. But, assuming it all works, you should get up to the minute live updates of when your bus is going to come to your resort.
Which is nice because they have them when you're waiting out for the buses, but to be able to wake up and when Amy takes forever to put on her sunscreen, be like, okay, well, we're going to miss this bus. So Amy, you have a couple more minutes to put on your sunscreen. No rushing.
Or if I have time for the last minute bathroom run, they show you when the buses are expected to depart your resort as well as when they are expected to arrive at your destination. Now, right now, it only shows buses leaving the resorts, going to either the 4 parks, the 2 water parks, or Disney Springs. Does not show you, when the Animal Kingdom bus when the Coronado Springs bus is going to show up in Animal Kingdom, or whether you're going to be sitting there for 45 minutes. But maybe someday.
So it's just the Firm Resorts 2 parks.
Yes. How it works is it's on your app. You have to have an active
reservation.
Yeah, you have to have an active reservation
at a resort.
At a Disney Thank you, Julie. An active reservation at a Disney resort, and by active, I don't just mean like you have a reservation.
Like you need
but
to be like checked in and there.
Yeah, you have to be there, checked in.
So you can't test it out before we get there. We tried doing that with our snack credits last time, and it didn't work.
And
that's also a cool feature that they
Yeah,
added.
and I definitely also tried to see if I could see bus times when I was sitting at my computer in Massachusetts probably 2 hours ago, and it did not work.
But I wonder if I had a reservation, because we're linked, if you'd be able to see it on your My Disney, or is that just our PhotoPass that's linked?
I don't know.
Perhaps when I go by myself and leave you in the dust.
If you go and leave me in the dust, we'll have to check.
I think the only trip I'm going by myself is Disneyland.
We can check when my cousin goes for the...
Sorry, if you didn't, I need to like leave that in. If you're wondering what that fluttering was, that was me giving Amy a really angry look and fluttering a piece of paper because while she was saying half of what she just said, she was shaking her piece of paper.
So when my cousin Karen goes and runs the half marathon, Wine and Dine, it'll only be like a week and a half before we go, but I believe I am linked to her reservation, so we can see if that's a thing.
Oh, but she doesn't have an annual pass or Movie Maker, right? So
she doesn't have an annual pass now because she went a lot like last year and isn't going as much this year.
Did she have an annual pass when we were there?
She did, yep.
Oh, I'm so mad for all the pictures that we lost
know.
from March. Thank God we have a lot of them and the important ones, but that makes me so angry.
Yeah,
you only have your PhotoPass pictures for a year, make sure that you download them onto your computer if you have Movie Magic Maker.
And that's if you have an annual pass. If you just buy Memory Maker, I think it's like 45 days or 95 days or something weird like that. It was a lot shorter when I just got Memory Maker versus when I had the annual pass.
Yeah, I think, something like that.
Yes. But yes, so to look it up, you just click on your active reservation in the My Disney Experience app. You get a little few options that'll show up. Bus times will be one of them. Click on it, and it'll show you the next departing buses from your resort and their expected arrival time at their destination. So we'll see how accurate that is, because it just started, and I'm sure people will be talking/complaining about it soon. Item number 2. In Disneyland, Bing Bong's Sweet Spot is opening this summer.
Oh, I meant to look up the lyrics to that song. Bing bong, bing bong. That's the only part of the song I know.
Bing Bong's Sweet Spot is opening this summer at Disney's California Adventure Park on Pixar Pier. It will feature a rotating selection of quote-unquote buddy pops.
Why are you not way more excited about this?
It'll feature a rotating... The Sweet Spot will feature a rotating selection of buddy pops with Pixar characters in pairs. Example, Buzz and Woody, Nemo and Baby Dory, Wally and Eve. I'm sure we can expect there to be...
Wally and Eva.
Oh.
I'm sure such an underrated Harry Potter movie. No, that was such an underrated Disney movie. Can we just talk about how we were at the grocery store today and I saw cups and they had this little swoosh that looked like a golden snitch wing, and I got so excited that they were Harry Potter cups and I was going to buy them, and then they turned out to just say happy birthday. That's so depressing.
But yes, and I believe they kind of indicated we should expect, buddy pops in the Inside Out characters as well.
Ooh.
They have...
Do you know what I'm excited about? The sadness popcorn.
Oh.
Sorry, do you actually talk about that?
I don't.
One of the things I saw. So they have Inside Out popcorn flavors. And while I'm not a super huge fan of fruit-flavored popcorn, I would eat blueberry sadness. I think it's blue raspberry sadness.
So they also have caramel apples, because what Disney Sweet Shop does not have caramel apples?
In Bing Bong and the Unicorn!
Yes.
I'm so excited about those. So excited.
They'll have a rainbow unicorn caramel apple... caramel and chocolate covered apple, and a Bing Bong caramel and chocolate covered apple.
A Bing Bong.
And I'm really excited about those too, should we ever make it out to Disneyland.
I'm going to. Did I tell you that Jonna said I could sleep on her couch for D23, so I'm going out there for that. Excellent. And Star Wars World will be open by then, so I'm obviously going.
So now, item 3, something we talked about last week, I believe.
Disney reads our minds.
They do. Iced specialty churros.
Oh, good. That is actually what you're talking about. I wasn't sure.
Iced specialty churros available for Pixar Fest.
So
standard churros drizzled with icing and topped with cocoa cereal.
Ooh. So I don't know if this was on a Magical Snack Corner or our regular podcast, but we talk about churros, and we're thinking the dipping sauce is great, but how much more convenient would it be if they just drizzled the sauce on top of it? And then they did.
They read our minds because we do these things, and then before we release the podcast, they come out with them. So there's no other explanation that they've tapped the store.
Aliens. I don't know what his name is. John
Julio
Sikini
Slavlakis or something like that. I can't.
Giorgio
Slavlakis, I think.
Y'all know who we're talking about. There's some T's and V's, and he's Greek.
Like clearly because we're talking about this, we're gonna post it.
Can it just be a picture of him going churros?
Yes, clearly. Clearly, it's
awesome.
gonna be churros. So
I was just gonna Google the Bing Bong song. Who's your friend that likes to play Bing Bong, Bing Bong? So are you done with your news?
It is, yes. I am.
Wrap yourself up.
Oh, thank you. Well, that is it for Amy's
Daily Dish.
Because
we're still getting used to it.
Yes, I was typing it up, and I'm like, Amy's news on that. Nope, Amy's Daily Dish.
All right, so now we are on to the meat and potatoes. I haven't used that one in a while, guys. Of the episode, and we are joined by our good friend Jade Pedro as we talk about the Crystal Palace. Jade has graciously agreed to be a guest host because Amy has never been to the Crystal Palace. So instead of listening to me talk all by myself for an hour, we figured we'd bring along a buddy pal host and give you guys a break from listening to me.
Mm-hmm.
All right, so this is what Disney says about the Crystal Palace. Join Winnie the Pooh and a few of his pals for a willy-nilly silly good time. Inspired by Victorian greenhouses of the late 1800s, the Crystal Palace brims with light topiaries and tropical palms and is an enchanting spot to meet some favorite Disney friends. Bountiful buffets feature American favorites prepared before you in the onstage kitchen. Start your day with delicious omelets, freshly baked pastries, fruit, and more. For dinner, choose from mouth-watering favorites like roast carved meats, freshly prepared pastas, peel and eat shrimp, and beyond. Buzz Lightyear to the rescue. Sorry, wrong characters. Delight in such desserts as warm bread pudding, key lime pie, coconut flan, brownies, fruit cobbler, and soft serve ice cream. It's the perfect ending to any meal. Did you know that you can't eat soft serve ice cream when you're pregnant?
I did not know that. But so there's
Neither did my sister.
So there's a restaurant in Disney where you can get coconut flan, and we have not been there.
I think I make a comment about that when I mentioned the coconut flan.
That does sound amazing.
I love me some flan.
Hey, Disney fans, does anyone like Winnie the Pooh? It is so nice to go there. It's so nostalgic. I mean, when you walk in there and you see the beautiful Victorian decor, it's just great for adults, but then you go back to your childhood when you see Winnie the Pooh and Piglet, like, just dancing with children. It's just great all around.
It really is.
So that's Jade.
Yes. So yesterday was Jade's birthday, so happy birthday, Jade.
Happy birthday to Jade. Happy birthday to Jade.
Happy birthday, dear Jade. Happy birthday to Jade.
Boop,
Now
boop.
it's in the public domain, so it's okay.
Aw, thank you.
We don't have to pay to sing. It was not in the public domain until, like, last summer.
What?
You had to pay lots of money to play Happy Birthday on, like, television, in a movie, whatever, anything, like, not private, before, like, last summer when it became public domain.
You know, my favorite Happy Birthday is the Cuzco one from Emperor's New Groove. They sang it at the restaurant.
Which restaurant?
When Pacha and Cuzco are at the restaurant.
Oh, in the movie!
In Emperor's New Groove.
I was like, what Emperor's New Groove restaurant are you talking
I
about?
wish.
I'm
I wish
just like,
that restaurant was there.
Yeah, I was like, come on. What was it, Coronado? I think that might fit.
That'd be wonderful, though.
That would be...
Cuzco.
No, it was in the movie, yeah.
Oh, no, what I'm saying is, like, wouldn't that would fit really well.
Cuzco.
Animal Kingdom, that would probably fit, too.
Oh, yeah. Llama. Llama, llama, llama.
Llama llama ding dong.
The llama right next to the yak and yak. Then you get all those four-hooved animals all in the same spot.
Yeah.
All right, so the characters that we meet are Winnie the Pooh, obviously, Piglet, Eeyore, and the ever-famous Tigger. The wonderful thing about Tigger is that Tigger's a wonderful thing. The tops are made out of rubber, the bottoms are made out of springs. They flouncy, pouncy,
They bounce,
trouncy,
bounce, and fun. But the most
pouncy,
wonderful
fun,
thing
fun,
about
fun,
Tiggers
fun,
is-
fun. I'm the only one. Bounty, flouncy, trouncy, pouncy, fun, 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 fun. I don't know.
But luckily, he does not pounce on any of the guests.
That would be a lawsuit waiting to happen.
Or super adorable.
Yes,
Agreed.
yes, but it would go one of two ways, and you'd never know until the end.
It depends on how
I mean,
their dining
wouldn't
experience was,
mind
I
because
suppose.
I love Tigger, but I'm sure a child would,
Like,
scream or accidentally.
I'm sorry, what would the child do, Amy? See,
would the
why
escaped
can't you
chimpanzee
be
do?
that loud when you're actually one
Outside?
of the people that's on the podcast, Amy? Where are those levels when you're actually sitting in front of the microphone?
I wasn't should I just imagine that Tigger is going to pounce on me the whole time?
Yes, and that's how words should come out of your mouth all the time.
Yep, just pretend that Tigger is about to attack you around any corner with a pounce.
You realize the next thing I say has to be like as if Tigger's going to attack me.
Tigger comes out last. He is most definitely worth the wait. I thought all the characters were super interactive. We had a party of, I think there were 10 of us, and they gave us all the same treatment and interaction, and were really nice to all of us, even though there were 10 of us in the party, and they could have very well just been like, hey, little 7-year-old, we like you the most.
Yeah, when I was a young kid, I went with my mom and my sister, and they gave us a lot of attention. And even when I was an adult, I went with an adult friend, and they gave us the same amount.
They're usually good like that. Except for at 11 o'clock at Cinderella's royal table, because the poor kids would throw a hissy fit, and we're totally okay with that.
Yeah, we were totally okay with that.
We were kind of like, yes, we don't want to get up again. We're tired too.
Yeah.
It's okay. Go to the
was-
next kids.
We definitely got good character, enough character interaction, but it was definitely okay, we're good moving on to the kids so they don't have a panic attack.
And our waiter was super awesome that last time.
Yes,
so.
he was.
With any buffet, the Disney website is super, super vague as to what comes on the menu, which is super disappointing. So they say scrambled eggs and omelet station. I do love me a good omelet. Breakfast meats and potatoes, which, obviously you would assume would be sausages and bacon, but who knows what?
It might be chorizo.
Ooh, yum. It isn't, but
I know, it's
could
not
be.
chorizo. Or it would be chorizo.
pancakes and waffles, which is a lie because they had French toast. And this was where I had my first Mickey waffle experience ever.
Yeah, my first Mickey waffles were there too. Delicious, and they have plenty of toppings.
Such a fond memory of Mickey waffles.
I can't remember my first Mickey waffle.
You remember Spaceship Earth when you were half a year old, so.
Yeah, so it was a good trade-off.
Seasonal in all caps again, so I don't say seasonable. Fresh fruit.
Do you like seasonable vegetables, Jade?
I love seasonable
yeah,
vegetables.
seasonable
Who doesn't?
Vegetables.
Fresh baked pastries. Assorted Kellogg breakfast cereals.
And when I was there, they had this beautiful smoked salmon. It was delicious.
Ooh, that sounds magical. I did not see that on the Disney food blog menu.
I think they have a lot of things on there that they just don't put on the blog. You just gotta, go there and experience it for yourself.
Yeah.
Allergen guide is available on request, which basically, well, honestly, if you tell them you have allergies, usually one of the chefs will actually come out and talk to you and say, hey, these are the things that you can eat. Here's what you can't eat, which is really cool. And then the Disney food blog menu goes into a little more detail with one of the guest reviews. This one was kind of difficult because it was a guest review, so I was going off of really far away blurry pictures of what everything was. So I tried really hard to get everything, but there's probably more than what the pictures entailed. But when we are looking for a little bit more in-depth menu reviews, we go to disneyfoodblog.com. So shout out to you guys. You are awesome and we love you. So the pastries that they have in the kids section are the Mickey waffles and a French toast, which look like beignets covered in cinnamon and sugar. So more like
fried dough,
like a puffed dough sort of thing. Which
they were so good.
They sounded so amazing.
That's a good trade-off for French toast.
Yeah, I was obsessed with the Mickey waffles. I think I got 4. I think I got 1 with some strawberry sauce and whipped cream, and then went back for 3 more.
Yeah, I think I put 1 plate of Mickey waffles and then got all the rest of my other stuff on another plate. So I had 2 plates and could switch between savory and sweet.
Oh, that's a good
like
idea.
the way
That's
you
smart.
think. I
I
like
just
the way you
mush
think.
everything all together, but that is a much. Although when we went to Cape May, I had my Mickey waffles on a separate plate,
Yeah, I did the same thing.
but that was more for photographs than anything else. They had cinnamon rolls that looked pretty good. A blueberry crumble cake that looked delicious. A few different flavor scones, danishes, which looked more like the danishes that they have at the grocery store that are folded over with the little slash marks in the top. You know what I'm talking about?
Yep.
So not like your traditional circle Danish with
figure
the
8.
filling inside. And then chocolate croissants with powdered sugar. I definitely had one of these because chocolate croissants are life for me. They're my
yeah.
favorite things ever. Oh,
Have
they're
you ever
so
put
delicious.
bananas on top of those? So good.
Ooh.
And I bet they have bananas.
I bet they do.
At the fruit station.
So for fruit, they had watermelon, strawberries, grapes, cantaloupe, an ambrosia salad, which is basically like fruit that's kind of mixed with some like marshmallows and like whipped topping. And then they had some yogurts, which I assume they had like a regular and like a sugar-free.
They do a lot of no sugar added stuff.
Because you might not want to sugar up your kids right before they go into the park.
I feel like that would be the one place, that would be the one time you want to sugar them up. And then not for dinner. Breakfast is a good time to sugar up your kids. So sides that they had for breakfast was a potato casserole, grits, corned beef hash, which was one of my favorite corned beef hashes. I got that on the same plate with my omelet and just nom 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 nommed. And then for their meats, sausage gravy with biscuits, and bacon. And they're made to order omelets and scrambled eggs, so basically an omelet station that you could get as scrambled eggs if you wanted to. They had hard-boiled eggs and a Western breakfast pizza.
Oh, it was amazing. It was pizza with like eggs baked into it. It was almost like eating a pizza omelet, but sliced and everything. Never heard of it before.
Was it like sliced like in wedges like a pizza?
Yeah, wedges like a pizza. That way you can eat pizza for breakfast with no excuse.
I don't need an excuse to eat pizza for breakfast.
Well, if you're eating bagel bites, pizza in the morning, pizza in the evening,
pizza at supper time.
Because when pizza's on a bagel,
you can eat pizza anytime. Good harmonies, guys. Good harmonies. And then a Pooh's breakfast lasagna, which I was super disappointed to hear was sweet and not savory. But it's, I guess, kind of like a bread pudding, and it has berries and peaches and banana and custard, which sounds super delicious.
I was going to say, that sounds delicious, but if you were expecting something...
I also found a recipe for it if we want to make it.
Like a pasta lasagna. It'd be kind of disappointing.
Yeah, if you're expecting a savory lasagna.
But even, like, I don't know, if you're going to make a Pooh's breakfast lasagna, like, make it crepes. Like, layers of crepes with fruit and stuff. You know what I mean? So it's more like a lasagna.
Ooh, and drizzle honey on top because Pooh loves honey.
Ooh.
This girl is full of great ideas. Jade is just full of great ideas. I like this.
Thank you.
Anything
I don't know.
You both guys
we both only went. So I have stories about breakfast, but those come after all the foods.
Want to make sure there's nothing we missed.
For lunch and dinner, the Disney website says, creative array of garden fresh salads, freshly made soup, roasted carved meats, freshly baked breads, seasonal fish.
Seasonable fish.
That's going to be a thing now. Is that going to need to be one of the exclusive buttons?
Yeah, it's totally going to be an exclusive
Seasonable vegetables. Peel and eat shrimp.
Which are really the best shrimp. They taste the best.
Yeah, they get all the flavor from their shells.
If I'm going to eat warm shrimp, peel and eat tends to be it because...
If you've ever eaten at Ohana, their shrimp are also peel and eat.
It's like all the flavor is just trapped in that shell.
Oh, glorious. And chicken. Very vague. Chicken. Vegetable creations. What? And assorted desserts. Thanks, Disney website, for telling me all about what they have there. And then you go to the Disney food blog, and for breads, they had yeast rolls and multigrain rolls and jalapeno cornbread. Hey, Disney website, why not throw that in there?
I guess I love jalapeno cornbread.
I know you were just talking about that before we started. And I just, come on, Disney. I feel like maybe people eat there no matter what they put on the menu, so they don't actually have to put a lot there as far as like the other restaurants that aren't just a buffet. I don't know.
I feel like the buffets they tend to get really vague about because they want to be able to just like change things up.
Oh, I guess that makes sense.
Which I get, but I feel that the specialty stuff for the restaurant, they should make a list of like may include selections such as, and like put a few of the dishes.
Even on like the main like front page.
Yeah.
It had like desserts, great. So now I know all the desserts I can get.
Yeah, have the standard stuff that's there all the time, but then they can interchange some things.
Yeah, which is usually how they do it anyways.
This said deli meats and cheeses, which are basically literally sliced deli meats and cheeses, what it looked like from the picture, so...
Again, it's like, come on, you do such good cheese plates and...
Come on, do you have ham? Do you have turkey? Do you have chicken salad?
I guess that's more for the folks that don't want anything too crazy, so I guess.
I don't know. If I'm going to a buffet, I'm loading up that plate.
So for salads, they had apples, carrots, and pickles. I would like to get just a plate of pickles, if we go.
In Beverly, they have a sub place that makes a pickle sub.
Oh, I know. I feel like we've talked about this on one of
Pickles
like.
and like the oil, olive and vinegar and oil with cheese on it.
So just in case you don't remember this conversation happening in one of our other podcasts, we both really want this pickle sub.
Yes.
A Moroccan couscous salad, an edamame salad, tomato mozzarella salad, cucumber salad, roast beef salad with arugula. As we all know, I'm obsessed with arugula. #arugula. Mediterranean pasta salad, mixed fruit salad, and then Caesar and garden salads.
Gee, I noticed they, mentioned all of these salads in great detail, but just deli meats and cheese.
Well, okay, so on the Disney food blog, it was a picture of deli meats and cheeses, and that's literally what I wrote because they were exactly what they were, deli meats and cheeses. Stuff that you would get from your local deli. Nothing fancy, nothing special.
Like the basic meats and cheeses, not
Like-
even like the fancy stuff.
Like ham, turkey,
Salami, maybe.
maybe salami. I think it was pretty much just ham and turkey.
So no, like.
And then it was like-
mortadella or prosciutto.
Exactly. And then I think it was like American cheese and maybe like a pepper jack. Which, I mean, a good pepper jack is a good pepper jack, but not when it's a sliced deli meat.
Oh no,
Cheese.
get me some provolone, please.
Yum. There might have been a provolone or like a Swiss. There was something on there. The sides they have, now this sounds delicious. The roast corn spoon bread. Sorry, fire roasted corn spoon bread. I should probably read my own writing. So I guess it's similar to the breakfast lasagna where it's like a bread pudding-ish of sorts, but it's savory.
Sounds pretty good. I love cornbread.
Fire roasted corn spoon bread. This is something that we need to make.
Oh yes, definitely. It
Maybe
sounds
add some
amazing.
jalapenos to it.
Now, do you think you eat it with a spoon, or is it cooked in a giant pan that looks like a spoon?
I feel like we need to find giant spoon. Like,
I feel like the people on that half of the table need to talk louder or closer to the mic.
I feel like we need to find giant like spoon-shaped baking ware and just make the bread in that.
Or we could get giant spoons and
We
just
can
take
make giant
bites.
spoons out of bacon.
I'm down with that. I'm down with spoon bacon. With spoon bacon.
Boon bacon!
Spoon bacon!
Oh my god, that sounds so amazing.
Bacon.
Bacon makes everything better.
Stir-fried vegetables with noodles. I almost just said stir-fried mashed potatoes. Just kidding. So stir-fried vegetables and noodles, mashed potatoes, basmati rice, broccoli with roasted garlic oil, sautéed green beans and carrots. So it looks like a lot of options there. And then the kids section actually also looks super delicious. Mac and cheese, peas and corn, pasta with meatballs, and corn dog nuggets made of turkey.
So, sorry, not to interrupt, but I didn't actually get a chance to scroll down this far.
You're really far away.
Okay, so sorry, not to like interrupt.
That's what I was getting so excited about!
I didn't get. I went on my computer. It didn't scroll all the way down, and I thought it was the end of the page. Look at these caramel apples.
That's what I'm saying. Bing Bong and the unicorn.
Wow.
They're like the greatest caramel apples in the world.
I've never
There's-
seen caramel apples like that.
There are so many marshmallows on the unicorn. I love the marshmallows. I don't care if it's white chocolate.
But I love white chocolate. I'll eat it for you.
Isn't it so fat? I know. I feel. And I was thinking to myself, I bet that's the one that Amy would get, even though it has white chocolate on it.
And that other one looks like Bing Bong is just like a turtle, and he just was like, yeet.
I love it. I love it. I love it.
Who's your friend that likes to play Bing Bong, Bing Bong?
I love how they have a bunch of healthy options here, too. I mean, buffets, you can easily just kind of pig out, but if you're trying to keep it light, you can still enjoy it.
Oh, we haven't even gotten to the main dishes yet. So there is a Chipotle. Dear Lord, I'm not one of those people. Chipotle. They have Chipotle pasta, Mediterranean chicken that had feta cheese and tomatoes and like a olive oil sauce, sausage with braised red cabbage. Right?
I love me some cabbage.
Yeah, it just
and
looked
some
super delicious.
sausage, and some braising. Just all that. All that.
And then they have paella with shrimp, mussels, and chicken, so even Amy can eat it because it doesn't have scallops in
Yay, no
it.
scallops.
It doesn't look like the best paella I've ever seen, but I'm sure it's probably still delicious because it's.
You can always just put a little bit on your plate. Try it, see if you like it, and if you don't, just don't get more.
They have roasted chicken pieces that actually look super delicious. They're like thighs and legs
And breasts.
and no breasts, and they just look. They're like the little pieces, so they're
Oh,
not
yeah.
like a giant breast because the breast doesn't cook at the same
Time. And it
temperature
also
and
has a lot
time
of
as the other ones.
protein Unless they do it.
Exactly. And then chicken nuggets with honey mustard, ketchup, and barbecue dipping sauces. The Atlantic salmon with the herb crust looked delicious.
Yeah, and the salmon for breakfast looked really good and tasted good, so I can only imagine that one's really awesome.
And then tilapia with cream sauce that also had green beans and olives like mixed in with it. This one looked like I would probably want to eat the whole thing.
So, side note, the tilapia that is farmed in the land pavilion
We fed them.
is actually used on property. I don't think it's probably used at a buffet restaurant, but it is actually, served on property.
Yeah, I don't think they have enough tilapia to... I think they use most of their food on
they
property,
do.
except their... What are the big fish that they had swimming around?
Sturgeon.
Yeah, I don't think they use
those
those.
I think are, set free.
What does Sebastian say about the sturgeon?
The sturgeon and the ray.
Oh, there we go.
So he doesn't really say much about them. He just...
To swim and play.
Yeah.
Something like that.
No, I was thinking there's another part in the song that rhymes with sturgeon, and I was like, that doesn't sound right.
I think it's the sturgeon and the ray. Go
Yeah.
up and play, something
Get the
like
urge
that.
and start
To
to
play.
play.
Down where it's wetter. Something is better. Take it from me.
Take it
I know how the song starts, and I didn't know it until the 18... I didn't know how the song started. I didn't know how the song started until the 18s sang it.
Oh my god, I remember the 18s because they used to sing a lot of ABBA.
Yes.
They were originally an ABBA cover band.
Well, they were like the ABBA teens.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then they shortened to 18s because they're like, hey, we should probably do something other than cover ABBA. And I'm like, why would you stop covering ABBA?
And they were super, prominent on the Disney Channel, and they did Under the Sea.
And The Little Mermaid was the first movie I saw in theaters as a kid. It was so great.
So, fun fact, I did not
The
see
seaweed is
The Little
always
Mermaid
greener
theaters,
in
but,
somebody else's lake.
the
You
guys
dream
that-
about going up there, but that is a big mistake.
I did not see Little Mermaid in theaters, but the guys that actually own the store next door to me...
The store next door?
Yeah, the store next door burned my dad an illegal copy, or not burned, made my dad an illegal VHS copy.
Yeah,
of
I was
The
gonna say
Little
they
Mermaid
weren't
for me.
burning back then.
Yeah, no. So somewhere I still have the
Bootleg
illegal Little
copy of
Mermaid
Little
copy
Mer-
that Lou and Carrie made me.
That's awesome. They also have a carving station that has beef strip, loin, and turkey with a cranberry sauce. I think they also have a barbecue pork loin that is in rotation as well. And then for dessert, they have fruit cobbler, vanilla chocolate and swirl soft serve, white chocolate raspberry bread pudding. That looks delicious. And
Coconut Flan!
Amy's very excited about this.
I really like flan, and I really like coconut, and I had a coconut fruit bar last night for the first time ever. And, they were just, the store brand ones, not even, the fancy ones.
Does
They were
rum
amazing.
freeze? Can we make coconut rum ones?
We could just take some rum and then put the coconut, just dip it in there. Just dip the popsicle in the rum.
Oh, sounds delicious. Disney, please, take our ideas.
Or that coconut popsicle could be how we keep our rum cool.
Yes. I do have a fancy popsicle mold, that makes, more than 4 popsicles at a time.
Do you?
I do.
Are you sure?
I'm sure.
I really like your wine pops.
Yeah, that's where I would have made them with. I can make more.
So they also have brownies and cookies, key lime pies that are actually made with real key lime because they're not bright green like fake key lime pie.
Don't dye your key limes bright green. It's okay.
Sugar-free raspberry tart, a turtle cheesecake, to which I have written, Amy, we might have to do this.
Coconut flan. Coconut flan.
Yeah, I
white
saw
chocolate
that. I
thing's
saw
sounding
that,
good
and I was
too.
like, yeah, Amy's gonna.
white
This is how I'm gonna win Amy over to eat here. They have coconut flan. Wouldn't it be so tragic if the day we went they didn't have coconut flan? Amy would probably
I would
murder
be-
me in my sleep.
So angry. I would not murder you in your sleep, but even Tigger couldn't make me happy again.
Yeah, I tried to get a lobster hamburger at one of the Grand Floridian Resort, and they didn't have it when we went there.
Oh,
so
I was supposed to have it and they didn't have it anymore?
yeah, but they made me something. It was
That's
pretty good.
awesome. Did it have lobster?
Yeah, I think they just took lobster, put it in a hamburger, and was like, "There, give it to her." But
That
hey,
worked.
it was
they
nice.
tried.
So the menu items probably change, but this is kind of the basics that you can get, which is awesome. That's basically all the food. The characters are awesome. So I have a story about when I was there. So I've only ever been to the Crystal Palace once, and it was actually a trip where I met some really, really awesome people that are super important in my life now. And I went with Mike Gulick, actually, and we met up with basically his entire family down there. His sister Lisa, her husband Keith, their children Brooke, Maddie, and Caden, and then Brooke's 2 friends, Jordan and Aaron. And I actually met them probably like 2 minutes before we went in for our reservation for Crystal Palace. So it was like my first meeting them, my first time at the Crystal Palace. I had a zoom lens on my camera, and after we got out of breakfast, actually, there was a Peter Pan show that was going on. Well, it was like one of the fantasy shows, and Peter Pan was on stage, and Brooke was in love with Peter Pan. So I zoomed in and got a really close picture of him, and they instantly fell in love with me because I'm amazing. So we go in and we get, like, I just remember it being so bright, and it was just such a really beautiful space. There were lots of flowers, and everything was painted white, and it was just open and inviting. And there were a lot of us, and they were super accommodating and got us this giant seat by one of the windows. And I got up, and I remember getting one of my omelets, and I think this was probably one of the first times that I got an omelet from, like, an omelet station, and he's like, what do you want in it? Anything else? Anything else? Anything else? And I think I put, like, 8 different things in this omelet, and it was so delicious. And my first experience with the Mickey waffles, obviously, another great experience. And so we're eating, and, you know, we're taking turns going up, and at one point it was just me, Mike, and Jordan sitting at the table, and this gentleman came over, and he started talking to us, and, you know, we're all really friendly, so we started talking with him as well, and, you know, he asked us how everything was going, and, you know, we weren't sure who he was at all, but, you know, anybody who comes over with a smile and wants to talk to us, great. And I can't remember what his name was. I'm really bad at this. His name was like George or Paul or Larry, I don't know. But he ended up being a guy who worked for Disney, and he came over to talk to us because he saw that we were a huge party, and once he realized how friendly and wonderful we were, he asked us to be the Grand Marshal of the Magic Kingdom Parade.
I've always wanted to be in one of the parades in any park in Disney World, and like right now they're only in Magic Kingdom, but there used to be in other parks, and I am super jealous that Juli got to do this and I did not.
Wow, that sounds like an amazing experience.
It was super awesome, and we got Mickey ears that have Grand Marshal 2013 embroidered onto the back of them, and so basically we
Making a pouty face.
we finished our breakfast reservation, and I went to do some parks, and he's like, yep, at 2 o'clock, meet us over here, and we got to go backstage, and they said we couldn't take any pictures, but I snuck a couple of only us, like, so we were in this carriage, and all of us fit in the carriage, and it was just so cool. We're, you know, at the front of the parade, and there's the gentleman carrying the rope behind us, and then the whole rest of the parade, and every once in a while we'd be like, and 1, 2, 3, princess wave. And everybody loved us, and we obviously loved them, and so we were waving at all the little kids, and it was just, like, it was the most magical experience ever. So it was just such an awesome experience to have at the Crystal Palace that just turned into, like, spiraled into, like, the greatest experience ever.
Super, super jelly.
As everyone should be.
Still have a pouty face.
Do you have anything else you would like to say about the Crystal Palace?
Well, my first experience was with my mother and sister. I was around like 12. My sister was a little bit younger, and it was the only character thing we were doing, and it was great. We got to the park really early. It's a little bit of a walk from the entrance to the Crystal Palace, but it was worth it. It was amazing. They took us right in, like, right away, and we sat down, and it was our turn to go up. We got all of our food. Then the characters started to come by, and of course we love all of them, but me and my sister love Tigger. And we didn't know who would appear, so we were kind of worried, like, oh no, you know, is Tigger not going to come? But at the very end, he did. It was amazing.
Yeah, they make you wait for him.
Yeah, I think he's everyone's favorite, really.
We were actually so upset because he was Lisa's favorite, and she had, like, gone off to the bathroom or something as he was coming out. So we were all like, no, you have to wait for Lisa! And he stayed and he waited, and I got some really cute pictures of her, like him giving her, like, the biggest hug ever because he knew how much she was excited to see him.
That's so nice. They really go out of their way to, like, accommodate everyone and make sure everyone's happy. It was
awesome.
so good. We got the Mickey waffles, of course. That was my first time having them. And me and my sister piled them high with all sorts of, like, strawberry topping. I think there was, like, an apple cinnamon one. We had syrup, whipped cream. It was almost like a sundae. My mom made us get some fruit to make up for it.
Side note, I have had a Mickey waffle sundae with a pumpkin Mickey waffle for the Mickey's Not So Scary Halloween party.
Yes.
More on that later.
Sounds delicious.
It was huge.
Yes.
It was not a tiny Mickey waffle.
Go big or go home, right?
Well, most Mickey waffles at the buffets are like the little Mickey waffle, and this one was just like the size of my head.
So, my Crystal Palace experience thus far has been walking by the building and marveling at, oh, that's such a pretty restaurant from the outside. I wonder if it's pretty on the inside.
And Amy saying, I hate buffets.
I don't hate buffets.
Just like you don't hate breakfast.
I don't hate breakfast. I don't hate buffets.
What's wrong with breakfast?
Nothing. I just don't like breakfast buffets.
What's wrong with buffets? You get all the food you could ever want.
I know. Jade's rehearsal dinner was at a buffet, and it was amazing. And they had like an ice cream machine and a... Did they have a cotton candy?
Yeah, they had a cotton candy.
They had a cotton candy machine? Oh my god, that's like next level
It was
buffet.
a kids' night, so they had all these cool things
Oh,
like snow
that's
cones and cotton candy. And they had a taco buffet. Oh, but at the palace, they have all these topiaries with the characters. It looks so beautiful, all the lights.
Topia.
And they have a fountain out front, too, I think, with like Winnie the Pooh.
Yes, and they have
really
Winnie the
nice.
Pooh and Tigger and Eeyore and Piglet like topiaries, and they're made with dried roses. And I'm wondering how often they have to replace those. Because dried, they have to replace them less often, but they still probably...
So, are they touchable distance?
No.
Okay, so not as often as you...
Well, I mean,
super often.
I
I
don't
think they're
think...
behind a velvet rope.
Yes. Because I was going to say if it was touchable fairly often, but probably every few months.
Not touchable. Not touchable. So, I mean, I guess that was kind of a quick episode. One, because it's a buffet, and two, because only half of this podcast has been there. Amy.
I never... You did it.
Exactly.
I've never said we couldn't do it.
Right.
I've never specifically asked to do it.
Well,
Every time I want to do a buffet, Amy's like, but it's a buffet.
You know what? I've been to a bunch of buffets, and I agree that some of them do have, like, you know, just mass-produced food, and, you know, like, a lot of it, like, kind of goes bad by the time they get more. But this one, they're really on top of putting fresh things out, of things being so delicious that you're just going to go up and get more. That omelet station that she talked about was just so wonderful because you have so many different choices. I would recommend at least this buffet. I mean, I know people have recommended other Disney buffets for a meal, but at least breakfast at this one. I haven't been for dinner, but it was very enjoyable.
I feel as though this is a buffet
dinner.
we're going to have to do a lunch or a dinner. I don't think I could convince Amy for breakfast here.
If you can promise me coconut flan, I would say fine on breakfast, but it was not mentioned anywhere in breakfast, so it would have to be lunch or dinner because coconut flan.
Coconut flan.
Yeah.
Jade gets it. She understands me, coconut and flan.
Absolutely. It's like two of Amy's favorite
As
things.
do I. I
melded
wrote the thing in the podcast.
Well, they know you understand my food love.
But when I went there as an adult, the experience was just as great, too. We got to picture with all the characters. They were so nice. It's not like they ignored us or, like, you know, went to our table real quick and then went to kids. They actually waited to take pictures, and they all gave really good hugs. Eeyore even, like, would take your hand and, like, kiss it if you were a lady, because he's a gentleman. And Tigger was hopping around all the time. Where do they find the energy in those big suits?
Oh my god. In the
Caffeine.
heat, too. Oof.
Oh,
Right?
yeah. Well, at least it's air conditioned inside, but it's still like...
Yeah, I don't know how Baloo and King Louie do it. They're
Oh my
outside in
God.
Animal Kingdom all day.
Yeah.
All right, so I think that is all that we have to say about the Crystal Palace. It's awesome. We love it. It's definitely a great experience. It is hard to get reservations, so make sure if that's something that you're interested in doing when you hit 180 days, book that sucker.
Yeah, definitely. Go inside. It's really beautiful, and you'll have a wonderful experience.
Thank you for your input, Amy.
Coconut flan.
Coconut flan, coconut flan, coconut flan, coconut flan.
Okay.
I was trying to see how long
Coconut.
it was. It was not messing up. That's why I wanted to see how long I could do
And
it.
then I just done. No.
It's okay.
All right, so that
High
brings
five for me.
us to our fan favorites food.
That's what you get.
So that brings us to our fan favorite food segment. This week's Disney food memory comes from Katie Petrus. I now know how to pronounce that last name without the phonetic spelling next to it. Thank you, guys. Katie is Megan's. You'll remember her memory from our first episode. She is Megan's wife and co-host of the Swish and Flick podcast. And they do a reread of the Harry Potter books chapter by chapter. There are some spoilers, just saying. But you need to listen to them. They're amazing, just like us. So Katie says, "Hi ladies, sorry this took so long to get to you. I have a ton of favorite memories at Disney, all that revolve around food. So I might have to send you multiple entries. However, this one sticks out the most in my mind. My wife and I are huge Harry Potter and Disney nerds, so of course we had to honeymoon at Universal and Walt Disney World. And of course, any chance we could, we told cast members who would listen that we were on our honeymoon. Man, did they really roll out the red carpet for you. And then she shared the exact same memory that Meg did, which was about Tony's Town Square. Megan and I, of course, had a conversation about how this would happen, so Katie sent us a second Disney food memory. She did also add that they got a card signed by Lady and the Tramp, and it was their paw prints.
Oh,
That's so cute.
So here is her Disney food memory. Okay, let me try this again. After all the confusion, I now totally remember Meg telling me not to use that memory. Oy vey. Here's the one I remember thinking I would use as a good second memory. God help me. In 2013, my now wife and I packed up our things and moved down to Orlando, Florida to take part in the Disney College program. On one of our days off, we decided to eat at Via Napoli in Epcot because their pizza is absolutely amazing and it has been a long time since we'd gone there. We managed to get a table and the food was excellent as always. Towards the end of dinner, the people next to us asked if we were on the Disney dining plan. We kind of assumed maybe they had a question about how to use it or something. But they went on to say today was their last day and they had extra meal credits that they were going to waste and insisted that we use them to pay for our meal.
Aww.
When our waiter came back, she explained everything. So we now had a completely free dinner that even included the dessert we wanted, but we're going to pass on. For anyone who doesn't know, working for the mouse is great, but not so great for your wallet. These people had no idea that we were two broke DCP kids who decided to give themselves a treat that night. It was so generous, we couldn't thank them enough. It just goes to show that Disney magic can come from anywhere. It doesn't have to be a cast member, it can be from another guest. Love the fun and tasty podcast. Keep up the great work, Katie. So thank you so much, Katie, for sharing 2 Disney food memories with us, and I appreciate you sending us a second one when I told you that Megan had already shared the first one.
That was so nice. What a lovely couple.
Oh, they're amazing. They're like 2 of my favorite people, and I got to go see them at the end of July. I'm so excited.
I'm very jealous.
You should be. They're amazing. I love them. So if you want to share your favorite Disney food memory and be featured on one of our episodes, please send your story to onelittlespice@gmail.com or share your story in the comments section of our pinned Facebook post. You'll see that right at the top. Follow us on social media. On Twitter, we are at @OneLittleSpice, Instagram at @1_little_spice, and on Facebook, we are One Little Spice. Make sure you join our One Little Spice group on Facebook to talk about each episode and all things Disney food. There are 3 questions to answer once you hit join. It's just so we can learn even more about our fans. If you have any thoughts or comments to add to our upcoming podcast, share on social media, or please email us at onelittlespice@gmail.com. You can join us on Patreon for exclusive access to the Magical Snack Corner, which is our bi-monthly episode about Disney snacks, a chance to co-host a Magical Snack Corner with us, a live monthly Google Hangout with us, and much more. If any of that sounds awesome to you, head over to www.patreon.com/onelittlespice and choose your support level. By supporting us on Patreon, you are helping us to bring you even more awesome Disney food content more often. And thank you so much to those of you who have already become patrons. I shared the exclusive button 4-pack on social media, and those will be sent out soon to our spicy chicken waffle sandwich level patrons. That is a mouthful, as is the spicy chicken waffle sandwich.
Yeah.
I was going to say, do they have that anymore?
They do.
Oh, they do.
It went away. We have, in the first podcast, I think we talked about it, and it went away briefly, and then, or no, the second podcast. We talked about
the first one.
Yeah,
the first one was about our spicy chicken waffle sandwich.
It went away briefly, and it was like, everyone was like, no!
Yeah.
So they brought it back, and without
Me and Chrissy wanted
arugula.
to eat it, but it was not there.
Next
Sniffle,
time.
sniffle.
We are so close to reaching our first goal. When we do, we can start creating our website where we can give you even more Disney food information all in one place. We'll be able to share all of our food pictures and stories there and hear from you too. We are on TeePublic. Search One Little Spice or click the link in the description on Podbean. We have t-shirts, mugs, cell phone cases, and more. So if you want to show your One Little Spice pride, head over there and buy some awesome stuff. And then we are on YouTube as well. We finally launched the Taste Lab. So this month's Taste Lab is from Akershouse, where we create the vegetable terrine that Amy had on our trip. That comes out at the end of the month. And I don't know if theirs was, but ours is gluten and vegan free. Nope, gluten free and vegan free.
No, we don't.
We did
mind
not put
vegans.
any vegans in.
Yeah, we did not
our
put
recipe.
any vegans.
Yeah, this
in-
dish is not made with vegans.
No.
But ours is gluten-free and vegan. And you can check out our first episode, which is already up, where we show you how to make Le Cellier's cheddar cheese soup. And this is just an awesome way for us to be able to help you bring some Disney magic into your kitchen. So we hope you like it. Subscribe to our YouTube channel so that you are up to date and can watch all of our recipes. So that concludes our episode on the Crystal Palace, and just remember, every recipe starts with one little spice. So that concludes our— Shut up!
I'm sorry!
Well, but that's what happens when you give them amphibian DNA. Get like bug guts all over you there. Purpley, purple. Mashed potato. You can get up and walk away and do that if you need to, though. Brims with light. Ugh. He was just like, oh sweet, I can see things now, nap time. And I went, whoa. Quit you digging.
It's a lot more freeform than I thought. You guys
Oh,
are just
yeah, no.
talking about this and that. I guess you can edit everything, right?
Yep. Ba-ba-da-ba-ba-ba-da-ba-ba-da-ba-da.